Randy did one to me about 2 months ago.
That was super. That's a good haircut.
She was like, oh, it's terrible. I'm like, no, it's actually looks better than what I get sometimes.
Yeah.
So. And then she did it outside on the porch, and then we found my hair in Christmas all over talking all that stuff. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, get back to the community. Yeah.
We are live.
Perfect.
I did the Twitter thing, so.
Good afternoon.
Okay.
You're in meat space.
I'm Patrick Leader. This is the first day I've been in the studio, not just running and picking something and running back out in, 3-4 months at this point? 3.5 months.
Beginning of March.
I think it was March 30th. It's March 13th, a Friday.
Yeah.
So that was that day. Yeah. And I was like, we should close the studio down. And then the mayor or the governor that afternoon was like, you should close everything down.
Yeah.
So we're back in the studio right now. Everyone's been back for a few weeks except for me. I've been I thought it was just going to be creative, but there's a lot of other people here. A little bit of surprise. And just came in today to work and see how people are doing and do this podcast with Nick. Nick is our graphic designer / junior developer, I guess, is the way we're going with that.
Get a promotion right now.
Yeah, and so I, of course, designed Underworld, and Nick did a lot of the development with Cole on it, and then, of course, Cole designed the deck, which is arguably one of the better parts of the expansion anyway. But I designed the Corvids and the bolts, and Nick made them perfect for me. So I did all the work on them. I designed the maps, which was fun. Designing maps is really easy, as it turns out.
So audio's doing a weird thing.
Uh-oh.
So Gabe's technical support.
That's fine.
Comment for comment.
One moment.
What is on? Sounds like gargling. Well,
It could just be my voice you're unused to. I'm having terrible allergies right now, and every time I fall asleep near an air conditioner, I wake up feeling like the desert. Ugh.
yeah, try coffee. Hey, awesome.
Can you hear Nick okay?
Hello.
Yeah. Chat. Ryan says Nick quarantine beard Rockman.
It's real.
Yeah. It's both of you. Oh no.
That's what I say.
Also, I've seen people. I didn't know if I was actually talking. I was wondering. I can't read my thoughts. Those weren't words.
Okay. How about this
I'm just sitting there going, This is how quarantine Patrick speaks.
Okay, way better.
Perfect.
Thanks, chat.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank you, Leader Games family, for that vote of confidence. Yep. And so, of course, I'm Patrick Leader. I guess creative director and CEO of Leader Games. So, but I kind of turned the creative director over to Cole for a little while. So, all right. So we're here to do an unwrapping. Do you want to talk about the game? What we have here a little bit, Nick? Or
oh, sure. So this is all of our current available root product. This is I don't even know if you can see it all in frame because it's between the two cameras. Because it can't even be held by one camera.
This is a lot of root.
But yeah, this is the base game right here that you see. This is the one that started it all, so to speak. And I guess we'll just start opening it up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go for it.
yeah.
So this is actually the fourth printing.
Yep.
Yes.
This is all fourth printing.
And we put the order in for the fifth printing.
Yep. So we put an order in for second printing Clockwork, since it's not on the same numbering system, and then fifth printing core sets. And there's no difference between fourth and fifth printing. It is literally just we've sold so many. We need to get ahead of the retailers so we don't run out again.
Oh, the back of the box is different.
The cool part about where I was 18 months ago, as far as producing games goes, is I don't need a Kickstarter to produce another print run.
Yeah. Ryan says, can you bring the mic close for ASMR root opening? Actually, Ryan, we talked about this previously.
I won't actually touch the mic.
So what's funny about the ASMR video to
there
me,
actually is an ASMR root.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So somebody came on to the video in the comments and said, you recorded this with the wrong kind of microphone. So it's not actually ASMR.
You need the left. You need the left
Yeah.
ear, right ear, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you did it from one microphone.
Funny, yeah.
And so I kind of thought of that joke where people say, if it's not from champagne, it's just sparkling wine.
Exactly,
Yeah,
same idea.
It's not really ASMR.
ASMR, unless you got that.
To the microphone.
So right here, this is just, getting into it. You got your walking through route. You have one of the big things that Cole cared a lot about, and Josh and stuff, was like giving people a lot of different ways to learn how to play, how they like to. So there's also the learn to play, and then the true, law, the old law of route.
The law of route get updated at all?
Yeah.
Yes,
so
yes.
I've been. There's been some changes to the rules anyway, and then I've insisted that if we anytime we publish the law of route, that we make sure it is current for all factions.
Yes.
So all 8 factions are currently in that.
Yeah. So whenever you buy the newest product, it always has the newest rule book with it. So even if you get just the expansion or whatever, it has the newest version of it in there. You've got your 4 player boards. Patrick, in the base game, I already know your answer. Favorite faction?
Oh, I'm the Vagabond Stan, so yeah, I like the Vagabond.
Particularly a favorite Vagabond?
The raccoon is a delight to play because you get that teapot and you get the ability
Go
to
back to
steal.
that Eerie.
If I just want to win, I'll play the Harrier.
Look at that blue. So vibrant. Sorry.
No, you're great.
Look at that vibrant blue. Cool.
But the four base factions, the ones who started it all, right? And then the double-sided map. Oh, spill coffee and everything.
That'd be cool.
It'd be fun. Is this better for the top down? For the front on? Who knows?
Who knows?
Oh boy, look at that.
Look at that.
And it's double-sided.
I'm gonna retweet. I'm paying attention though.
Yeah, retweet the tweet. Ooh, look at that. Such winter.
As I've played more Root, I've grown to love the winter board. In a way that I didn't originally, I think. It's really mean, that map.
I remember the first time I played it, I had no understanding. I'm like, why would you? And then after I started getting really into it, I was like, oh, this is why you do this. Like, there's so much replayability. I mean, there's still so much replayability on that whole map.
Different tactical advantages and all that. All the punch board, do we want to punch this out right now? No. That'd be more of the ASMR. That's for the ASMR. We'll keep that for the ASMR section.
Yeah, get close to the mic and show them. This is the sound.
Here, I'll give you a preview. Alright.
That was actually good.
That's what they sound like when you pop them out. A whole bunch of meeples. I'll throw some of those in the little box for us here.
Meeples are a little bit different material now?
Yeah, when we switched manufacturers, some small, I think the colors are slightly more accurate to what we originally thought with these ones.
We have much better air control with this manufacturer.
Yes.
So one of the things they do, just for those who are curious, is they actually weigh it at the end of once it's shrink wrapped, they weigh it, and if it's light at all or heavy, then if they missed a meeple or something like that happened, and you do that in the package.
I actually didn't know that. That's even me.
And you couldn't do that. Maybe you could have done that before, but these meeples are so uniform in weight that
you can actually just do it by weight. And let's get that Vagabond in there too. Look at them all. So those are, your base game meats. And I'll just keep them sitting out. We can keep accruing the gang as we go. We got some of your cards.
Oh yeah.
This is all of your non-main deck cards.
It's good coffee.
Any coffee that you didn't have to brew yourself is good coffee. That's what I say.
It's amazing.
That's all I thought too. And Marshall came, I was like, nice, forgot. I'll just show a few of these here so we can see what we're looking at.
Yeah.
Got your. I'll put these in the card
you
thing.
Can also put
Get these boys up here. I changed my mind. Some of my favorite pieces I'll show at least.
Oh, look at that.
I love the Despot.
Yep, same.
Ooh. So I played Saturday night, and we had a Despot player who I accidentally fed a non-turmoil turn. And he was like 10 points ahead of us because that's that ability. It was pretty funny. It was like, the scores were like 30 to 15 to 12 to 10 to 10 to 2009. We played a 6-player game, and it was not my proudest. That was not my finest hour.
A few of your vagabond friends.
What was Salty Horse? Can we buy packs of one of each root meeples for decorative office purposes?
You know, so my wife made a set of them last year that were this tall.
Oh yeah, the giant ones.
Yeah, and they're not very practical for what we intended them for. So I think
it
we're
also
just
doesn't scale with price.
I think we're just gonna sell those for charity at some point.
Yes.
Yep.
Yep. When we aren't using them for the booth decoration. Actually, I don't need that.
Yeah, we need a few for booth.
That'd be actually really great.
And then what I want to replace them with is I want to get plushes made because they'll transport easier.
Can we do?
They're much easier.
A little bit lighter.
A little bit lighter. Yeah.
Plush meeples.
That's also Simon, the factory that supplies Simon through Simon because they're our Chinese partner for licensing the game.
This is not final.
Yeah, just nowhere near final. But he said I would love to price those because I think that'd be pretty easy to do.
Yeah, I think the plush meeples would be a really good idea.
That'd be pretty good sell. And then we could have those for our booth. But we used to have a 10x10 carpet that had the root board on it. Which we never made it to any conventions with because we got lost on the way to the
Do
first
we ever
convention.
have any photos of that carpet?
We have
We have a few
photo of Cole sitting in it.
So what's weird is the manufacturer of that carpet wrote us and said, we had so much fun making it, can we make another one for you?
Yeah.
And I was like, well, we already have ours, and then we lost it, and then I wrote them back and asked for another one, and they never responded.
So the whole story for context is that it was PAX Unplugged 2018.
Yep.
And Giant Root was coming about, and then finished out.
Which is terrible for your knees.
Yeah.
You have to bend
over. The most physical activity we've ever done at a convention.
And the wooden root meeples are easily 2 to 3 pounds each.
Yeah.
And if you're moving all of those on the ground.
And about half the groups that showed up expected me to move them for them. Actually, I was like, why would I move your pieces for you? You move them.
Had to put the kibosh on that pretty quick. Yeah.
And there were some differently able people that showed up.
Of course.
That I was willing to help.
Yeah.
But I was like, why are you expecting me to move all the pieces?
This is more of a lifeguard situation. That's how I described it. I'm here to make sure nobody hurts themselves with the pieces or does anything illegal.
So the carpet got lost on the way to the convention, and Kyle and John Ritter and Nick.
Yeah, I was there.
Nick Mazzaro and the guy from Beasts of Balance.
Tim
Stewart. Yeah, they all went out that night and spray painted a new board on a plywood. It was pretty amazing.
In the back of a U-Haul.
Yeah, and they all got really high because I'm sure there was not really ventilation. All right, sorry to take you aside with a story about our lore.
That's the point of the stream, I think. So
yeah,
good.
We have these stories.
Meanwhile, I was just showing card backs on the little mini cam for people who are interested. But then finally, I'll just show the main deck card back here. Just get out of here, boys.
Action shot.
And then, you've also got the little baggie of dice, obviously.
Yeah.
But I mean, that is the base game. This is your root core. 2 to 4 players. Everything you need in the base game. Updated as much as you can. 4th edition.
Yeah. What are the changes to this
Fourth
edition?
printing, thank you.
Yeah, what are the changes to this edition?
I know a few of them.
Yeah.
One of the small ones is we got internal printing on the box liner now.
And we switched to Panda manufacturing.
Yes, we switched to a different manufacturer. So that's kind of thing Patrick was talking about, where the meeples are slightly different just because they're made at a different factory with slightly different wood and paints and stuff. Pantone matching, anybody knows, is despite PMS being apparently an accurate system, Pantones still will vary across factories and stuff a little bit. So. And plus the material they're being printed on. All that stuff, right, yeah. And then also small things that I recall off the top of my head is this one has the rounded corner player boards, which I think looks nice. And then any and all updated rules.
The finish is a little different too, yeah.
Yeah. That's...
I mean, the board is, it's a different, so, the board is printed differently.
Yeah.
It'll sit better now.
Yeah, that's how I was going to describe it, is it should look more flat.
I get very technical how it's printed, but no one needs to know that.
The boards don't work.
Yeah. Let me just pack this back up quick.
Yeah. Also, base game of Root is 2 to 4 players. You do not get the 1 player option until you get Riverfolk. That's the question.
Yeah. And if you're on solo, you really should just pick up Clockwork. Because the solo in Riverfolk was... It's good, but you're going to get a much better time with Clockwork.
Totally.
Also, we switched to Panda manufacturing.
Yes.
Not away from.
Not away from.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Towards.
channel.
No, it's got to go board
You can just set that up. So
You're right.
if you need to. And our intern will fix it later. I better hire someone.
Yeah, I was about to say, what in?
I guess we'll just go through the history, right? Essentially, we'll just go down the line as we go.
Yep.
So next with that came out at the same time as the original base game was Riverfolk expansion, the first expansion.
So the Riverfolk expansion was a product of the Kickstarter.
Yep.
But you guys did not originally plan.
No, we didn't plan for it. I walked into the office one day and proposed a trading faction, I believe is how it started. I wrote a small draft of it and then called maybe and then the lizard folk started. We knew we were going to do druids or something with a bear. And then the lizard just got...
This where the bear...
The blizzards, the bear was originally going to be a mercenary of the lizards. That was how we fought. That's how the lizards would fight their battles, just in this one spot.
Yeah.
And I came in one day and said, what if the lizards were destroying the map, so that as they crossed the map, they would plant gardens and destroy the clearings and like return them to nature, like they're druids or something.
Yeah.
And that didn't quite work in testing, but we ended up with the gardens make the rule the clearing they're in, which pretty much does that, yeah. And then the bear got dropped because we just could not make combat with the lizards balanced without limiting it to the way it is. So I'm sorry, bear fans.
Bear fans.
But that's what had to happen. Now, if we do any more factions, it's kind of in our canon that like nothing larger than a wolf, and even a wolf is kind of stretching.
Starts to push it,
yeah, it's kind of stretching the lower a little bit, and then nothing. I mean, the mouse is tiny, so that's not really that big of a
Yeah, the bear token. Right?
Yeah, there was a bear meeple design at one point.
Yeah.
It's going to be a little bit larger, but I think
And the bear punch board token did survive into the expansion.
The bear punch board is right there next to it, actually. So all of the bear memes, leader memes, are because of that.
So if there's a bear faction, it would have to be like a pawn, where it's like the vagabond, like the indestructible, single indestructible piece.
Indestructible piece.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, well, the vagabond can't be killed.
The yellow one doesn't want to be
Yeah,
focused.
so there's the otter
Bump them
boys
this way a bit.
and lizard boys. There we
Yeah.
go.
And then, this is where you get your lizard cult, the Marquita cat, which is what we were talking about, or the, Mechanical Marquis, which is the bot that was in this one, as well as the Riverfolk and another Vagabond. So you can play with more, 2 Vagabonds now. And then there's also...
This also makes the game up to
6, yep.
Yep, takes it up to 6 players.
Yeah, if you're doing that, I probably just had a Vagabond for the 5th and 6th player, just because of board space, but... I played with 3 built-in factions this weekend on a board, and it got a bit crazy.
Yeah, actually somebody in chat mentioned Genghis Khan.
Yeah, Genghis Khan this weekend.
Yeah,
we nothing official there. We've had a relationship with Brooklyn Game Lab since that came out. We've been interested in making it. There's a lot of questions about how we make it. Like, do we make part of a regular expansion? Do we do just a Genghis Khan box set? I probably have to do that just for royalty purposes, because you'd want to have it as split from the rest of the project as possible. It needs a little work. But before we do anything with it. But I do like playing the variant factions. I play a lot of the variant factions on BBG and like to get feedback on them. I think for
and a lot of them
that
exist on the
fun.
TTS. So
Yeah, that's the one I played. Yeah. And it's every time I've played it, the best I've done is 15 points, and that was because Dave Dewitt gave me Mercy and gave me 5 points through Charm Offensive. So, and this weekend was no exception. I got 10 points.
The pity points. Should we just keep on rolling?
Yeah.
All right.
It's time to get to like.
So this was now, I guess, now we're getting to like.
Yep.
Ooh, actually, before it's the tease now, let's lay out.
Oh yeah.
Let's lay out one of
this
these,
one.
and so that way you guys can start laying out the new stuff component on the table.
Now the art you do see for Genghis Khan is Kyle. That is a Kyle Farron drawing.
Yeah, but it is not canon.
No, it's not canon. We just did it for fun.
You want me to move all this stuff out of the way and lay it down?
Yeah, I can.
Playmats. So, Underworld Kickstarter time, right? all the stuff that we're showing right now was offered in the Root Underworld Kickstarter, which... There we go.
This nice neoprene double-sided playmat.
Yep.
And the color's a little different because you're starting with, I assume it's black when they start printing. I don't even know. No, it has to be white. Is this white?
Yeah, I would guess it's white.
I don't know how they do that.
Oh, show the board, grab the baseboard too, so we can show size comparison.
Oh, of course.
I do like the white on this board a little bit better.
Ooh, Patrick, your favorite question.
What's up?
Root big box.
How did I not know? Someday in the future when I'm done making root stuff.
Yeah. So talk about like we pretty much have it mapped out. We know the end of root.
Yes.
We know the ends.
But when I cannot playtest the permutations of factions anymore, that will be the end. Yeah. when we're out of stuff.
Yeah. So also that's the color difference too. Crazy. Yeah.
Do you know why?
It's just, I mean, like printing on different materials.
Is it really?
Yeah, like, I'm guessing there's no, because I mean the file's exactly the same otherwise, so it just has to
If
do
you're
with
wanting something that's like whiter, but like the colors aren't bad, right?
No.
It's, yeah.
Do you know why, Kyle?
And yeah, I guess we can just keep setting up on this one.
Yep.
What do you say? Playmat colors can't be...
Playmat colors can't be subtle.
Oh, okay.
And then also show up that box too.
You know, and if you're a Magic player, you could also use this.
I used art. I mean, a lot of us use ours as our mouse pads in the office.
And
so the playmat boxes are actually used for transportations, and they won't collapse on themselves.
Yeah, they're like a thick, nice cardboard.
There are some like the X-wing ones collapse on themselves and stuff like that. So
it's why the window is only partially on there, so it doesn't crush itself.
yeah, awesome keys. Yeah, if your board is not laying flat, the playmats are solving that perfectly.
So here is a little preview of the other map. This is the mountainside that comes in the Underworld expansion. And you know, it comes with there's normally tokens that would cover some of these paths. This map's a lot more closed off at the beginning. It has the little mountain pass that you fight for, and then on the other side,
Best side.
the gorgeous lake map.
Oh, let's just keep it that.
With the giant, you have, a lot less connections. A lot. I think this one has the most game-changing like feel when you play on it. You have to change the nature of how you play the most on this one, just given how distant everything is. You want to grab the Clockwork expansion for me?
Patrick, grab your phone. There you go.
So the Clockwork expansion. I think one of my favorite parts, I just want to make sure everybody else gets it, is the bot art that Kyle did for all of
Let me zoom in.
Whoa!
Hold on, no.
Okay, stay where I'm at. You want me to okay.
I'm holding focus.
Okay.
There we go.
You got the...
There we go.
Oh my goodness.
And the way this got made was somebody on BGG was making their own bots for all the roles. I mean, it wasn't necessarily on BGG. And at one point, we just contacted him and asked if we could enfranchise his design, and we did. So he collects royalty from us when we do on printing, not on sale. But
Yeah, so it's how do you pronounce Ben's last name?
Schmaus.
It's just Schmaus, yeah.
Schmaus.
Cool. You were saying something about Kyle's art.
Oh, no, I was just remarking that I think something that doesn't get appreciated enough with the Clockwork expansion is the bot versions of all of the factions that Kyle drew. Yeah, I don't know, I just think they're awesome. That's all. That was all. And I guess the other thing I've noticed is that the cover, I like how it's this like dilapidated forest that looks like it's been ravaged by
by insane robots.
Yeah, rather than.
So, yeah, and I spent a lot of money in staff wages while they discussed the names of the factions.
For the bots, do you?
Yes, inordinate amounts of money.
Also, Clockwork expansion was previously known as the Better Bots Project.
Yeah, if you find it on BGG, if you ever Board Game Geek.
And he has a little bit different cut of it.
Yes.
Right now.
Yeah. But it was originally called the Better Bots Project.
We wanted to make it a little bit better for consumers, just to play out of the box, and his might know a little bit more.
Yeah, it's a little bit more complicated, maybe, perhaps. Oh, I forgot. The back of these have giant illustrations of all of them, even.
So if you see my daughter and she needs braces and she doesn't have any, it is because we spent so much money naming the spots.
Here, you know what? I want chat's opinion on all of the bots' names. So we have the Automated Alliance.
Vagabot.
The Vagabots.
Mm-hmm.
What is this one in front of me? The Electric Eerie. And the Marquis 2.0. We didn't get very creative with. We saved some money on that one.
So,
and that's funny though, because it's
the upgrade.
You've already
It's the new
yeah. It's a new dot release.
So I think Vagabot is probably the best one. And who's responsible for it?
Thank you. I got pushback on Vagabot being a too on the nose joke.
No.
But I think it's frankly perfect.
He's not. He likes his subtle humor.
No, I think it was nothing against Benjamin Schmaus. I think he thought he didn't like it. It was a little dumb. I was like, that's fair. It is a little dumb. And then the cards that come with it, I can just open up quick. But these are ways that you can actually modify the difficulty of the bots as well. So
it's funny because people in public ask me questions about the bots, and I'm like, if I want to play Root, I have people I can play with, so I'm okay.
Yeah. Oh, was it Boards Live has been playing with his kid for every day for like the past week.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I should play with the bots, so I'm getting back into faction design a little.
Oh, here I'll show my favorite.
Yeah.
The bots will help.
Explain the difficulty ranges too.
So there are in each faction there are both like modifiers to the faction and then also difficulty settings. So you can choose to use both like a modifier, which would be these four, and a difficulty setting. So there's three difficulty settings. Yeah, there's easy, challenging, and nightmare. Going up in
Just
difficulty. So like easy is the one that's slightly easier than the cut, so that just comes out as printed, nightmare, and then whatever. And then these are, I would also consider these difficulty changes, but they're not. They more just kind of change the puzzle and how you have to try to solve it.
Explain when you would use a bot. Because the Clockwork expansion is all bots. This is great for solo, and then also adding it to player counts. But when would you do that?
Like me personally?
Yeah.
Like, no, I think it's really good for when you need like a third player. Or the big one for me is if you want to have a game where you want to play the small factions, but you don't if neither player wants to play like the cats and the moles or something.
Yeah.
And like I want to play the Corvid and Patrick wants to play the WA. Throwing two bots in that are like those high density factions can kind of like round out that game state, so you can kind of play the factions that you want. Mm-hmm. And in my opinion, I'd say that's probably the biggest benefit is like with the expansion, you kind of get the liberty of just picking what faction you want to play because you can just pipe stuff in then to fill out the rest of it.
And you also play cooperatively against a difficult opponent.
Yeah.
If it, and so maybe I've seen some families using that as a way to with their kids to play this. Just to clarify what you said, I don't believe the robots can play against the Corvids.
Oh yeah, because yes. Sorry, thank you. They can, yes.
Not yet. They're working on that.
Yeah.
Because the Corvids involve some special strategy.
Yeah. Just because the question came up, operations related, is that the Electric Eerie board. We do have the sticker pack that's being offered. There is the error within.
There's a slight update to one of the.
Which that's getting replaced with the sticker pack, and then we will have a replacement Electric Eerie in the Clockwork expansion too.
Yeah. So if you buy the second one,
you will have a board.
You'll just get a board in it. Yeah. And it's a very small change.
Yeah. For us to replace the boards, it would be way longer for you to get an updated board versus the sticker pack.
It would also be prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
Because when you ship a board by itself, you're courting about a 20% failure rate. So it just gets mangled by the post office.
Yeah.
No shade on the post office. Just
I mean, it's
that's what happens.
A little bit.
Yeah.
That's the Clockwork expansion. And then I'll take.
How are we doing for time?
We are at 2:30.
Oh, nice. I'll take your questions then.
Let's see. Do the background designs for each faction relate thematically to them?
I mean, it would probably be a bit more of a Kyle question, but I would certainly say yes. I mean, just from my interpretation of Kyle's work, I would say for sure. Oh, well, there you go, Kyle. Yeah, but I would have, to me, they definitely radiate some type of essence of the faction. Yeah.
So granted, I'm 45, so picking that up was a chore. But I've also been picking up a baby a lot, so I'm a lot stronger than I usually am. So,
babies make you stronger.
This thing is heavy.
Yeah.
Don't have a baby to get in shape, but baby will make you stronger.
Yeah. So this is the Kickstarter edition.
Yes.
This is why it's like.
This is what you'll get if you back the Kickstarter.
So much value. Pound for pound.
Yeah.
You'll see it's not even closed because it's bursting at the seams of value.
Yeah. But also, if you did not back the Kickstarter, you might be able to find one in the wild that was a retailer that backed
Yes.
the Kickstarter. And if not, that's okay. Because
You can get the stuff.
you can still get the stuff all separately. We just had to package this for shipping reasons and logistic reasons.
They work really well.
You know, I'm pretty proud of
had
how
a-
this managed to pack up. This was another one of my this
was
right here. That opening was
that
all.
was satisfying.
Since I was pretty proud how these all managed
so
to fit in there.
let's give a lesson on form factor for a hot minute.
Yeah. So I mean, so this was. Yeah, I mean, I think everyone's appreciate it. So you know, when you get it, you open it up, and all these boxes fit very nice and tight. You need to make sure you have enough space that's filled, so that this stuff doesn't get rustled around. But anyway, when you open this up, we'll just go through these as they are. You got.
And this is for the Kickstarter edition.
This is for the Kickstarter edition.
Yeah.
But all these things are sold separately.
Yes. Yeah. So these are right now.
Not exclusives.
Yeah, not exclusives.
Yeah.
Kickstarter edition. These are the resin clearing markers. Mm-hmm. I guess we can open these up.
Yeah.
I actually don't think I've I have these, but I don't think I've opened one.
I've used my set.
Yeah, but I think I just got them.
These are so nice.
So they come in a nice little tray. Now,
who's our sculptor?
This is Patrick.
This was
Fahey,
Patrick
I believe.
Fahey. Yeah, it was.
I
I had the first name. I was like,
couldn't even give you his lithography. I don't even know what else he's worked on. He's worked.
Let's see.
I mean, if anyone's watching that can publish games, he has this really cool
let's see how this.
mech fighting game.
I don't know how to.
Using miniatures.
I think this might be Is this a
The top
the
down.
top cam one?
No, if that one pulsates, actually bring it.
Just bring it right here.
Bring it forward.
Yeah,
and
we'll
I
just-
will pull focus
Oh.
to it. Hold on for a hot minute. I got you. Trust me. Okay, stay there.
I'm staying.
Awesome. That is the
Look
that's
at that.
the clear
There's
marker.
one.
Yep.
I'll try to stay right where I am. The little fox one.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're of that skill set, you might want to dry brush the symbol a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look really nice if you put a little wash on them.
If you know what I'm talking about. Yeah,
Good
that's it.
job.
Actually, you should probably do a wet wash, not a dry brush.
Yeah, and one of my favorite little things about them even is with the sculpts, they're made out of the walls that the factions have. They're made out of different materials, so it's like a little rocky thing. They make a little brick wall, and they've got the cute little fence.
Patrick Fahey did all the objects for the previous Vast miniatures sets.
Yep.
He didn't do anything organic. That was all.
Oh, sure, totally.
That was Chad Orbiter. But there's a bunch of videos on my YouTube channel you can watch of Patrick designing the STLs for Vast Crystal Caverns.
Yeah, they're like speed
Oh,
sculpt.
yeah.
They've got,
And
like,
they're
the fast versions,
amazing.
right?
Yeah, it took him about half an hour to do each figure, and he gets it down to about 90 seconds, and they're a fun one.
Yeah, I've actually seen those. Those are very cool.
Let's see. So is the tray required to protect the markers during regular storage, or can they be stored safely in the box? They can be stored safely in the box, but I think they need to be snug, right? Don't.
Yeah, they can't be moving around.
Yeah, I think the way I've described people is if you wanted to, you could break them.
Yeah.
I leave
If you
mine.
had intent,
Yeah, if you had intent to, you could break them. I leave mine just in a Ziploc bag, and I keep them in the box with the stuff, and that hasn't been an issue for me. But they can break if you really jam on them or
I
something.
use the tray, I think.
Yeah, I would say use if you're be fair. If you're worried about them breaking, just use the tray.
Yeah.
So that's all those. We got the Exiles and Partisans deck.
Which is value in a box.
Yeah, so this doesn't work. The top-down camera still doesn't work.
No, it doesn't autofocus.
Still doesn't work.
Dollar for time worked on, this is their worst value from my perspective. From your perspective, it's great.
It's great,
As
yeah,
a consumer, you should get this.
Oh yeah.
Because it took a lot of game design to get this deck.
But yeah, the single deck just introduced to the core system is so much value.
And it's a ton of art. I mean, you compare this is just Patrick Fahey at one afternoon versus Kyle Farron working for almost a quarter.
So first I can show the...
Oh, best part of the experience.
It does have a different card back, which I think is really cool. It features all of the expansion factions on it, which is awesome. And then...
it's so good. Can you put the original
Oh, yeah, of course.
next to it?
Yeah, I can somehow.
Look at that mole kid. Looks like a young mole.
When I was playing on Saturday, the deck was still on the table because we were playing on TBS and somebody did the wrong thing. Boy, did that throw a wrench in our plans.
Look at all of them hanging out.
Just hanging. Look at that.
So, yeah, I mean, what Patrick was saying, the deck is... the crafted items are still the same between them because the crafted items still need to be the crafted items for the Vagabond. But other than that, every card that has a unique ability is unique. Or not unique. Unique to this deck. There are duplicates within the deck.
So, what's the big, if you're describing, I'm a person at a convention,
Mm-hmm.
why should I pick up the Exiles and Partisan deck?
We did not know how much impact the deck was going to have even after testing it for a while. Having a more extreme deck was going to have on the game. So we had to play a little bit safe when we were designing the first deck. And I feel like the powers that changed the flow of the game in the original deck are just a hair weaker than what can be crafted with this deck. And that makes... It was a responsible thing to do because we still had a lot to learn about designing it, and we had to finish the product on time.
Yep.
But coming back and being able to redesign it, we were able to make the powers a little bit more extreme or a little bit more flow breaking. The other thing that they do is they emulate the other player's powers. Yeah. The other player's berry powers is kind of the theme of how we pulled that together. And so I just like the synergy that can create at times. It's a lot of fun.
For example, what type of cards Patrick's talking about? That you get like enemy powers.
Yeah. Corporate planners on the boat.
Yes. Two favorites. Sorry.
No, they're great. Yeah.
Guys, look at that Corbin.
Oh, those guys are on the boat. It's okay. Yeah, look at that Corbin.
Look at that Corbin.
Look at the Corbin planner.
Just like that. Okay.
Yeah.
Favorite cards were safe? Question mark.
What's that?
Oh, the favorite cards. No, the favorite cards are not in this.
They're not on this set.
So yeah, the favorite cards are replaced, if you will. I mean, everything replaces everything, but these partisan cards are kind of the new ones.
It's interesting to me because I think the favorite cards were... I don't like them. I've had some very good wins with them too. So that is coming from a place of love. Cole considers them to be a very core part of the design, like the constant threat that they present coming down on you is important. But yes, they are gone.
Loner ATO, how many packs of card sleeves does one need to cover all the current root products? We'll answer that here in a hot minute. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Soon.
Yeah.
I don't know how to answer that.
Yeah.
This will be new information for me.
But yeah, I would say
that
this is
your favorite cards on the
yeah, that's what I was doing. So I was putting some over here in like art and stuff.
Cool.
Informants. This is one of my favorite cards for the cats. The other thing I'd say is I think that actually. This deck, because the crafted abilities are so much stronger, and as I know people online debate this often, I think this deck is actually stronger for like the cats to play in, because I think they have one of the better crafting abilities, and like the access that you can gain through these is a lot better. And this is exemplified in the card Informants, which says that in evening, rather than drawing from the main deck, you can pick up an ambush from the discard pile. And one of my favorite things to do as the cats is you just keep picking up the blue ambush if it's there. So you're sitting on a blue ambush whenever you need it, or you have it for the Great Field Hospital save when you need it.
Or the overwork,
Yeah, and
or the extraction.
It's so big for them, which is exactly. You can just leverage it so well. So I think this is like it's so low. It's low overhead to introduce it, but it has probably one of the biggest impacts, I'd say, to just the core system.
And if you don't like any of it, there's 3 sabotage cards.
Remove
another player's upgrade.
Yeah, which was also very important as we started getting dumber with the powers.
Can you combine both decks in any way?
The root police, I don't think, are going to come get you for that one.
No, I'm not going to bust on your door for it.
Yeah.
I mean, go for it if you want to. You're going to run out of stuff.
You're going to run out of
items very quickly. The way that Cole and I kind of intended for it to be used is if you buy 2 sets of sleeves and sleeve all your cards, you could mix the decks. What I would suggest you do if you do that is to make sure it still has the same number of cards when you're done, which I think is 52.
Yes.
And so, if you take one card out to put one in, put one in, take one out. Just make sure you maintain the colors
and the spread. Yeah, I know what you mean. The ratio is what's important.
Is how I do it. And if you have interesting results with it, I'd love to read about them on BGG.
Yeah.
Because I love reading.
That's a bunch of my favorite cards, just briefly.
I'm just round 2 and 3.
Yeah.
I like soup kitchens.
Somebody's asking, have we done an office tour? You don't want to see our office right now.
No, we kind of...
Let us get pictures on the wall first.
Pictures on the wall, let's put everything back where it was. We kind of, for security reasons, when we had moved out, we kind of put everything away.
Yeah.
So that was,
That's the Exiles and Partisans deck.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
That's good. Here you go, Patrick. Favorite pack.
Here is the old Vagabond pack.
Cute boys.
I think possibly just my favorite packaging, despite it being also maybe one of the not least thought out, but most just get them in a box.
Make sure the kids can see.
What was important, it was we just want to get all their faces in there if we can.
That was good.
So this is for you vagabond lovers. You want to bust that open for a sec? I'll start laying out.
Bust things open for you.
I'll start laying out all of the meeps.
These
so
are
this
the
one
cutest meeps.
contains. So the Vagabond pack contains not only meeples for all of the vagabonds up until now.
Yes.
It also contains 3 new vagabonds.
Yes.
And
it contains the rules for 3 new.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pull that black bar. Oh, actually, nope. You're perfect. Yep. Yeah, maybe.
We'll keep putting people on and see if it finds itself as we keep going.
Knife.
So the so those are 2 of the new meeples.
Any plans for cards to use with the Exile and Partisan card back are on them. We're getting there.
I can do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
But I think the real question
next
is,
root Kickstarter, yeah.
Will there be a third?
Not final.
Will there be a third deck?
Well, I actually was about to ask that, but I didn't want to instigate anything. But you just, hey, Patrick, you just mentioned it. Third deck question mark?
Yeah.
Oh no!
You know what? I think
it was by
Where do I got
far the
space?
most effort we've had to spend on it. So I don't know. It was worth it, but it was a lot of work. And also, like, I can hear Kyle screaming from wherever he is.
There will definitely be more cards.
Here you go, boss.
Thank you. So those are all of your lovely meeples that you get.
Can you name them left to right here?
Ooh!
Yeah,
I don't think.
Here we go.
All right.
Next product knowledge.
Yeah, we're going left to right on screen. You have, and we want. I'm already. Okay, I think it's Ranger.
Yep.
Oh.
Vagrant.
Yep.
Tinker.
Yep.
Harrier.
Yes.
Adventurer.
Yeah.
Scoundrel.
Yeah.
So Arbiter.
Arbiter. I always play those 2 of the rares. So
I also say, and it's Arbiter. Yeah, that's actually correct.
Yeah. Arbiter's fun because you get 4 swords.
Oh. People got opinions about the Arbiter. So there's all those, and then I can show you the art quick for the 3 vagabonds that we included.
What are their first names?
Those are their first names.
I could publish it. I'll tweet that later because they are in my design notes. The
Yeah, I was supposed to say you do name things.
I do name things, and I also named every mole meatball a few months ago. I can't find that tweet though.
I remember that tweet. I can dig that one up for you.
All right, that's great.
Yeah. I remember and then you did tweet out about the skeletons and Vast Mysterious Mineral.
Yes.
Which is great.
And then one of my other favorite little things we did with this product. Oh my goodness!
Sorry.
Here we go. No, you're right. This is why you're the marketing director. Was that? I mean, I don't have the meeple right here because it's in the River Folk. But the Ronin Vagabond was actually created to, as we were giving all of the vagabonds meeples, we realized that we've created 2 raccoons. We only had 1 raccoon, so we asked Kyle to go ahead. Let me push this one in and make another one.
Owls are canon.
I suppose.
There's no faction yet.
No.
Yeah. I mean, there's no squirrel faction either. Yeah. I think the vagabonds are like this. Yeah, who knows where they came from?
They're the outliers. Yeah.
Which the root RPG is a whole thing about it.
Yeah. So that's the little vagabond pack.
Yeah.
Lots of cool wood stuff. Lots of all that. And now we are actually getting to the retail stuff that you can get from Underworld. This is.
Oh yeah.
You bought it from the store.
We're switching.
Oh yeah. Wait a moment.
I was riding on the train one day in the spring to visit an old friend. I started working on the core goods in my notes while I was taking the train out to Mall of America.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, hold on, I don't know if this is a real story.
Well, it's light rail, yeah.
Yeah.
So again, a learn to play, another updated law, like all of our stuff.
Yeah. Pretty much every expansion except the Clockwork one comes with a root. Law root.
And then this is, the print version. I'm not going to put it on the table because it's going to be a pain. This is the printed version of the map that you're just looking at.
True story. The Mountain Pass map actually started as a cutaway of a hill when I first drew it.
Mm-hmm. I remember that.
And so it was going to be from the other dimension. I gave that up very quickly. They had a lot of limitations when you did that. So, but
Harrier question.
Yes.
Which is, we actually get a lot of Harrier questions. How is Harrier's power legal when a move is defined as being between adjacent clearings?
What's it say on the Harrier's card?
Let's see. Move to any clearing exhausting no beat. No beats.
Yeah, it should probably be place. We'll talk to Josh about
We'll talk to our rules editor.
Yeah. Place in any clearing, but then you couldn't go to the keep.
Yeah,
or a snare.
Yeah, we talked about. I know there's a root playthrough in March that I remember we had discussed this live, but yeah. Will there ever be a root collector special edition, at all?
Like with gold meeples or something?
Yeah. The old lay waste special.
I haven't planned on it. That'd be fun.
So we've got a punch board, right?
Maybe in 10 years when Alice needs to college.
We've got the 2 other player boards.
So go in detail about these 2 factions.
Of course. Patrick, I think you should start.
Yeah. So I wanted to make a... It's interesting because the nations in Root kind of represent some modern political structure, if you think of modern politics as being the last 1,000 years, which I'm sure everyone does. And so the Corvids were kind of weird because there's really not been a state of spies. But I wanted to work on spies and commandos and saboteurs as kind of a faction. So I started designing them. I wanted their piece count to be low, so I wrote nimble in so they can move around the map without having to worry about rule. I kind of focused on movement for all. The Harrier has movement, the moles have movement, and the Corvids have movement as a theme. Apparently, I felt very restricted by the game leading up to me designing the Corvids. And so the Corvids originally had a plot they're working on that would they could reveal, and it would do something major, like you could assassinate other players' cards, or you could blow up stuff in a clearing or something like that. And the way that they powered up that conspiracy is whenever they had Corvid sharing a space with other players, they would hand them agent cards. What are they called? Operative cards? Do you remember?
Agents.
Agents, yeah. So they'd hand them agent cards that would take room in their hand. And then it was up to the player to decide when they wanted to discard them. Because eventually you hit your hand limit and you had to start discarding them. Yeah. And then they would throw phones based off the cards coming back to them. That had, if the game hadn't been designed with that in mind, it would have been fine. But the draw rate of the different players and the utility of the cards is so flexible that it was just hard to get that to balance. And I know a lot of people really like the design, and I get that comment a lot, but they wish we would have stuck with the agent design. It was neat. I really liked the idea of it. It was just too hard to develop with that in mind. We'd have to go back and redesign some.
And that is what was first pitched and then the first print.
Yeah, we actually. I mean, I played. I played with that for several months.
Same.
In fact, when I went to PAX South to get people's opinions about making an expansion, that is the design I brought with me. I probably played 15 games of those Corvids.
Yeah, it was in very active development, that version.
And then Cole and Nick took over development, and they came back to me with this pitch that needed to change. And if you look at I think, to be frank, if you look at how the Enchanter was developed too, there was a lot of this depends too much on the game state to get to work correctly, that bidding system the Enchanter had. And so they came back to me with we need to change this, and so then they tried other little plots, and then I think Cole pitched the tokens eventually, and then you kind of hammered on them until they were until they're working smoothly. There was one that changed on me when it was published. If you remember that morning in the office, I was a little bit crabby. But otherwise I'm really pleased with the results. I like the mind games you have to play with the other players to get the Corvid conspiracy to work correctly. I feel like Nimble's very powerful, and maybe there should have been some restriction on it, but for now, it's all good. And then the moles, I just wanted to make. I started making another militant faction was kind of my purpose when I designed them. I knew I wanted somebody that tunneled. And originally I pitched it with the burrow being a new clearing whenever board they're playing in, and you can actually move into the clearing and put buildings into anyone can move into the burrow. Can you show the burrow?
That's awesome. Once you said it, I was like...
and so the burrow was going to be an extra clearing in the game, and there would be 2 building slots on it. And players could invade it and take it over, or maybe an allied Dragonbond player could move through it. But we slowly trimmed that back down to just that's where they rally their troops and move out of. And so the moles ended up being a little bit of as I designed them, you want a unique scoring mechanism. So revealing cards. I think you came up with revealing. I had spending cards originally, and they just had an insane card draw return.
Yeah.
Yeah, to supplement that. And that was causing some chaos with the deck having to cycle a lot, and ambushes were coming back into play very quickly. And so I wanted something that was like that had the flexibility of the cats, but still had some of the like predetermination of the birds. And so that's what we ended up with. Is the moles have 2 actions a turn, which is weaker than the cats, but then they can also build this parliament that gives them extra actions. And so like at some point we recast them as kind of interventionist democracy, I think is what we ended up calling them.
That aspect is something that you, Cole, and Josh spend more time thinking about than I do.
I write a lot about theme when I'm writing for myself, and so this is what we ended up with. And it frankly didn't change much from the initial design. I think tunnels were a building when we started.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think like little things about tunnels and buildings and stuff. But I mean, I think that the when I think about my position and like working on it is like the core of the Underground Duchy survived. Yeah, I would say, and it's like the core of the original core of it's probably did not survive. No, in that terms.
I still think there's room in the game for those agent cards, and I think Cole will experiment with them, but I wouldn't promise it.
I think and it's interesting when you talk about the moles and the system before where they had like that insane card draw, because I think it is interesting also that both of the factions kind of made us think more critically about how the value of cards in the game and players having them and stuff. Yeah. Because it was like once we got into it further, it was like, we can't treat a card in a cat hand the same way we can treat a card in the bird hand, and realizing that is like now I think we can weaponize that and do a faction type of thing or something.
I did, and what's interesting to me is I know that Nick is a fan faction, and Marshall's a fan faction, and there's plenty of fan factions out there. Oh yeah, I'm kind of running out of room to create scoring mechanisms in even daylight flow. Oh no, for sure. That's been challenging because I've been working on a couple of factions myself in my spare time, and
whatever that's called, whatever you want to call it, spare time. Yeah.
What I'm pointing at over here is a whiteboard. I listed all the projects I've been working on during quarantine to Cole's one, and so we're just kind of running out of room to work for mechanisms to run designs in, and the fan factions have hit some fertile ground, but at the same time, at some point you have to get them to balance, or sometimes if you really reduct their scoring mechanism, it ends up being one of our scoring mechanisms anyway. Yeah. So and that's fine if we just come out and say, well, these are like the cats, they score points for building, right? But they do it in a different way. I mean, at some point we're going to have to run into that. Just to play both those factions in the same game, if that's a deal for you, yeah. So, but we're not going to publish the fan factions anyway. So,
I set up all of the while we were talking. Yeah, I tried really hard, but so you've got your moles with the little crowns. They don't actually wear the crowns while you play. They can wear the crowns while you play the game if you want.
You can fiddle with it.
You can fiddle with them. The moles and their little golden crowns.
I mean, feel free to wear a crown yourself if you wish. Yeah.
But please use the crowns. I was very adamant about them making it. I would say actually, like the gold crown was core to my beliefs. We have the Watchtower piece, which you put on the mountain pass map for representing the Watchtower in the center.
And again, I won't knock down a door if you use it on another map, which I do.
I actually might.
Yeah.
Knock on your door.
All right.
If you use it on another map.
Be warned.
And my favorite part that Kyle planned for was when he designed the component, he made sure that it could hold a little meeple up there perfectly, which is great. And then I think a sleeper hit of the expansion is the gold dice, the black with gold inlay dice. They just look really nice. We like them. And then there's the little raft piece that you use on the lake map.
I believe I asked for a foresty pattern for the background, and then we got the dice it was based on, and we're like, nope, it's just not really. It's not gonna read well.
Yeah. So we just went with underground. It looked cool. Yeah. And the new dice were just a nice upgrade for you.
Yeah. Let's see. Anything else?
Let me go set the moles. Show some more card art.
Yeah. So one of the things the moles get is they can reveal cards during the game to appoint
ministers.
What landed on minister? Yep. They went through a couple now changes.
Lords, ministers. Yeah.
I'm not very careful about that stuff when I'm designing. Given works with me old experience, and so you can get these ministers, and then the ministers give you new actions for the rest of the game until they get destroyed.
There you go. Look at that art.
I know.
Look at that art.
Where's some of my favorites? Here's the mayor. I think he's
Kyle's so amazing. I take him a little bit for granted. I'm kidding. He's so amazing.
Kyle, you're the best.
You are the best.
Kyle, you're the best.
Yeah, all of the moles
Kyle said there.
have little.
He was elegant dice.
Ah, nice.
The black and gold is elegant. Kyle then says, I mean you pay me, so I don't feel taken for granted.
One of the other fun little details of the moles is as you continue to. This is actually a great way to represent it. They actually kind of are all sitting at a table when you line them all up, and they all got their little.
Talking to each other.
Yeah, which is a fun little.
It's so
Patrick and Nick.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that's what we should have posted. Was just them. Oh my God, Patrick.
We have a giant version of the card, and we. That's how I talk.
Okay, and one last piece that is a LeaderGames.com exclusive. And plushies.
These are. Sorry, I'll make sure everybody. Your official root sleeves.
Yep. How many sleeves are there?
There are exactly as many are in the deck, which is 54 cards.
Cool. So not enough to sleeve up a magic deck, but it is enough to sleeve up a Keyforge deck, which I have done.
Yeah. Yes, I haven't counted. I know that the deck has 54 cards. It's at least 50. I guess I'll sleeve a card for the people at home.
Yeah.
That's what the kids want to see.
This is what the youths want to see. Is you ready for this? Woo. Oh boy.
What are the sizes? By the microns. 2 people are asking by the microns.
You're gonna have to go grab the calipers.
Do they work for me?
Matte or glossy? They're glossy.
They're glossy.
Very glossy.
Well, Ryan kind of works for me.
Could the Exile and Partisan deck be used if you have the base game?
Or
do you use it while playing the
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
Usable in any game states.
Yep.
The Exile and Partisans deck is a separate product. It is separate from the Clockwork expansion.
Yep.
Completely.
In the Underground.
Yeah, you can use it at any point to replace the core deck.
Yeah, point towards the sleeves card.
Can you even tell?
Yeah.
This is the sleeved one.
And this is the knots.
Oh, I can tell.
And this is the not sleeved.
Ryan, you can play Magic the Gathering with the sleeves, but we don't have 60 of them. So you would have to trim out, which is not.
Do you have to have
optimal
60
for that
cards?
game.
A Magic deck is.
I thought it was 40.
That's pretty awesome. I don't play Magic.
I haven't played in like 20 years. So.
I played Yu-Gi-Oh! The superior card game. Ooh, throw that out into the chat.
And when I did play, I was like, I'm not building a deck. You can build one for me, and then I'll play with you. And so I always played someone else's deck.
Pokemon. Oh, okay, 40 for limited formats. Gates is so wrong. Guys, it's been a while. You can't sleeve your decks.
30 cards in a Blue Moon deck. That's the last constructed deck I played.
Oh, really?
Yep.
It is exactly 54, I can confirm.
You can get an advisor and change it to 25 to 45.
Marshall coming in with the TCG time. But yeah, so as the ominous marketing voice off camera, all of this is for pre-order on our website. The base game and Riverfolk is pre-ordered because we were just getting that in. But base game you can definitely get right now. Riverfolk on pre-order. Base game.
Look at all these things.
All of the root, and then the Clockwork expansion you can pre-order. All this additional product is pre-ordered, and then on there shows by region when the shipping times are, so you can follow that to the best of your abilities. Also, support your local game stores.
Yes, please.
And that is the ominous marketing voice. There was a question that was Leader Games focused that actually was talking about Oath and Fort, which I am going to go up to here. Awesome. So I know there's this little game called Oath, and it's Big Brother Fort, hilarious, coming out.
True.
But for Root, we need to wait another year for anything Root related.
Yeah, it's looking like next gen gonna be pretty optimistic.
Yeah.
Yep. So
For a release.
For new content, yeah. So
Yeah.
we'll be doing Cole and I will be meeting soon to discuss what we've designed separately, and then we're going to figure out.
And then there will be a battle royale between the
factions. So my faction that just scores 30 points every turn.
That's usually what I usually go for.
Yeah, we'll probably win the battle royale. So we'll be doing. We both working on content separately, and then of course we'll pull the studio and see what else people are working on.
Yeah.
And then we'll start building. We'll figure out how to build our next release for it. But
Possibly
it's looking like we'll probably do one of the games I've been working on, and then we'll work on, and then we'll working on root content the whole time.
Yeah.
But it'll get released sometime after, or we'll do something like we did with Fort North, where we'll market one heavily, and then finish working on it, and then do Fort inside of it. We don't need. One of the advantages of that last Kickstarter is we don't really need to fund ourselves with the Kickstarter anymore for Root, and so we can kind of just work on our own pace now, and we don't have to worry about like building marketing timelines for Kickstarters and things like that. So this is all pretty speculative. I've been in the office for 1 day.
We've been talking a lot about timelines.
Yeah, we
have like an internal date of September to really nail down what
that's I'm bringing in a bunch of games to pitch to the studio, and we'll see what they want to work on. And then we'll start marketing whatever that is. And I will do me, I'm attention seeking, so I will do work in progress as soon as we know what I'm working on. And so it'll be public and people can read about it and talk about what I'm working on. So.
And we are playing unannounced games currently in the office.
There
are games being designed.
There's games being worked on, no doubt.
Some within a foot of my shoulder.
Yeah.
So.
Any plans for deluxe components, buildings, or tokens? So we've seen the 3D printed buildings and everything like that.
Yeah,
your stand for miniatures.
I do like the miniatures, and I mean I'm from the standpoint of I'm somebody that needs to keep cash flowing to this organization to keep it going. Mm-hmm. I like the miniatures as a project for that purpose because it's not a lot of. I mean, all we'd have to do is enfranchise the guy that designed the miniatures, and we could be producing those in a couple of months. Mm-hmm. And so that's I mean, if we could sell 10,000 sets of those, of course I would produce them. But on the other hand, I think Kyle and Cole have said artistically that they want it to be representing the game, to be representing the meeples, and I respect that vision. And so I think probably not do deluxe components anytime soon. We'd have to change the rules a little bit too, because right now you say cardboards or points. And it's a really easy way to. It's a really easy way to say that. Yep. And you wouldn't have that fidelity with miniatures. I think I built the miniatures in TTS and played a game with them because they're STL files.
On Twitter, or did you just share that in the Slack?
I can't remember. And you can turn them to object files very easily and then import them. I did have to get the original sculptor in because some of my object files got crazy. Sure. And I had no way to troubleshoot it, but it was fine. It was fine playing with them. I mean, you lose a lot in TTS, obviously.
Yeah, it's always hard to say.
So, but yeah, I don't have any specific plans for deluxe components. Maybe if there's a big box edition down the road, that could be like a premium upgrade for that big box.
Not final.
But not final. Yeah.
Not final.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, and then Marshall's answering a lot of the Clockwork stuff because Marshall was also one of the developers on that. But there's a lot of Clockwork questions. We might have a stream about that in the future. Somebody's asking, do the bots have the same reach as their corresponding factions? Which Marshall answered, but as far as your opinions,
I don't think so.
Yeah, I would say that's probably. I mean, let's establish first of all that the reach value is a concept.
Yeah,
more than anything. It's not based on any. It's not like an algorithm that
there was no
with.
scientific research to arrive at.
Yeah. So, but I would think that they're slightly under.
And frankly, I've played games 2 or 3 points under reach, and been look, you just have to be aware that we're playing under reach, so you have to respect that. Yeah. And that game worked out just fine.
Yeah, because I would say that reach often. In my opinion, reach is more about a player's faction ability to go and stomp on another player, and the bots kind of don't have the knowledge or capability to know to okay, I should go stomp this person now, and that's kind of what reach actually covers for. So the bots will score super aggressively, but they don't really go into your territory or attack it, like try to kick down a player as much or anything.
Right.
So that's where I think that they have like less reach for that reason.
Let's see. Are the items shipping out now in the U.S.? I think they should be. Definitely go to the website, and it has the shipping dates by the region on the products, which is leadergames.com.
Yeah, I think most of the U.S. is...
No, hold on. No data to support the cornerstone concept of reach. There we go.
Tactical. I can make an equation if you want. Make number of meeples divided by.
I mean, the lizards are 0, right?
They're very
and
low.
the cats are 10.
Yes.
And they have the same number of meeples.
Something. If lizard is in the name, subtract 8.
The lizards have even more meeples. So yeah.
Yep. Awesome. So we're hitting at like 3 or 5. So if anybody has any last minute questions about anything, really.
Anything.
Yeah, we're switching in. My
Here to
question
answer the questions of the world.
to both use. What's your favorite root product out of everything that's in front of us and to the side and everywhere that's spread out right now? Favorite root product?
I mean, the corset, right? Because it lets you play the game.
No,
I mean,
yes, but like in the suite. Core game aside.
We have to like the moles.
I was gonna say I'm very biased.
Yeah, because we worked on them.
Yeah, like I helped finish Root and Riverfolk, but I didn't have much of a development hand in really any of that. So like getting to work on the expansion stuff was obviously where I'm gonna feel. But I'd say the deck is my favorite.
The Exiles and Partisans?
Yeah, Exiles and Partisans deck. It's just like,
yeah,
like we said, all the same stuff again. It's just the least components introduced for most different game state and rules change and stuff. So I think it's just really good for that.
Yeah.
It is a easy, and any maps. Again, you can hear Kyle crying, but any maps are a really easy slide into.
Yeah.
So, though they did require more testing than we expected.
Yeah.
Which surprised me.
Yeah, as we started playing them more, there was like, oh, okay, there's just some things. I think we learned more about. It's always an interesting project working on expansions for a game or more content because like you learn more about the game even.
And he was some buildings around in here, right? And he was some
spots had to get moved around and stuff. Yeah, just little things.
Yeah, it's not. I could go get my original. They're in my office. Go get the original notes for this map, and it's changed a little.
Yeah.
Speaking of maps, why is there an extra slot on the mountain map? Is there an extra slot on the mountain map?
Slot? What are you talking about?
That question's been asked. Why an extra slot on the mountain map?
An extra building slot? Are you talking about?
Perhaps. I mean, off the top of my head, I don't know the counts of them.
It's because I have children and I can't count to 20 for a sustained period of time. So that would be.
You want me to count
that would be part of it.
Mountain map.
Yeah, well, I mean, I count these ones first, so I know. So I mean, do this live on stream.
It just worked out. It was balanced that way, but that's interesting.
Well, now I'm.
That one you counted real fast.
I don't think autumn and winter are the same, are they?
These are some deep. Off the top of my head.
Is that 21 you just counted?
I thought it was 22.
Is it 22? Okay, because I've been using 22 as my. If I were writing new maps in my spare time, I've been using 22.
21 versus 22, if I recall. It's shaking up a meta big time, huge impact for cats.
Nice, interesting.
Yes, this one is 23.
No,
Yeah.
hold on. What?
Seems correct.
Hold on. Gates coming in. Count. 1,
Please
2,
do us like a
3, 4,
count.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
This is 22. I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure it's correct.
I just counted it because I was working on maps at home.
Oh, funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just seeing me. I'm like, I haven't done a. Root hasn't been on the development thought for months, so I'm like, oh, I don't remember any of these numbers off the top of my head.
3 months ago.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, I'm sure it just has to do with a connectiveness breakup thing. It probably is related to. I'm just trying to rationalize our choices. I'm sure it's related to the broken up nature.
I mean, if it really bothers your meta, remove one. I'm not gonna stop you.
Yeah.
And then speaking of meta, if you there is a for a laugh, there is a great cat redo on BGG that changes the crafting buildings, the way they work.
Yeah.
Oh.
And oh boy, is it fun! It's great. They're a little bit more powerful than the current cats. I might even dare say reach 11.
Something we can make into a scenario.
But boy, if your meta is worried about the cats not winning, it's just a little titch more powerful, and it's not even about the power. It's about, like, I have kind of a set way to play the cats when I play them, and it really shook up how I play the cats.
That's cool.
Like, there was more points in the game where I was like,
I could maybe start going a different path.
next.
Okay.
Yeah,
That is neat.
And they're on BGG, and I think the Root Discord has discussed them frequently. So.
Yeah. Last question would be what any sneak peeks of projects Patrick's designing on that whiteboard? I mean, you've talked about Void Lich publicly.
Yeah, I've talked about Void Lich publicly. So I'm working on a kind of, I guess, Twilight Imperium or Eclipse style 4X game with my sort of way of thinking about the world baked into it. So if I'm gonna work on a design, then I have to say it's like this. Then I have to write down at the beginning of it what I'm gonna do differently to improve on that formula. And so I have those conceits written out, and that's probably another hour to discuss. And so I'm working on that right now. I actually haven't touched it in like a month because I just wanted to kind of set it aside and let it bake for a little bit, and now I'm coming back to it. And it focuses on sort of nation building, where it's, instead of just flying out and conquering space, you might have to send agents out to like tip governments over for you, or you might trade with them to get them to join your legion or your nation, or you might actually invade them. And then one of the goals of Void Lich then is that as you will not be able to conquer the map in any one session, and then when you stop playing, you kind of save your board state and then come back to it next game and play another scenario. And so it's like there's a ceasefire, and then it breaks down and you continue fighting. You build up your forces, you continue fighting. And so a level of mobilization you can have is best at the beginning of the game, and it slowly degrades throughout the game. And then between games you rebuild back up, and then you can go back to fighting again. And then my plan is to build 3 stories into it, so that the campaign out of the box then will have the events will start happening as those 5 scenarios unfold.
I see.
And then you can play the second or third campaign also, or there will be set up then if you're just at a game store, you just want to play one game, there is like, this kind of creates the conditions of the middle of the campaign, and you can play just for the one-off if you want to. Which I'm going to recommend anyway if you're learning the game, to play the one-offs a couple times and then jump into I would never tell you to jump into Pandemic Legacy. I would say play a couple games of Pandemic and then jump into Pandemic Legacy. And so kind of the same deal. There'll be like just a sit-down scenario to play. And so I'm working on that. That's called Void Lich. And I'm pretty far along on it, so I'm pretty happy about it. It'll probably be what we do, but we'll see. So. And then I'm working on a solo dungeon crawler for my own pleasure, because I just like dungeons, I guess. I like that theme, and but there's quite a bit of that already in the market, so it's going to be hard to compete with them. So I think it'll just be for me. So.
Yeah, but there's other stuff on the whiteboard.
There is a lot of stuff on the whiteboard. Yep.
But secret.
Can I say? Can I pick one word to just read off the whiteboard?
If it's unicorns, yes.
Dang it. Dang it, that was the one.
Yeah, actually I think that was the one word I meant to use whenever.
I'm starting to list out the factions in the game next to it, and then I
just
Cole started talking, and
I see.
I ignored myself. So
well, and then we'll be wrapping up Marketing Voice off to the side. Is we're going to have a Underworld stream. Will be probably be the TTS. We're deciding on meet space and such like that. But that'll be Thursday at 2 p.m. Central.
This is like closest I've been to another human in 3 months.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna ease into that.
Yeah, even though I'm taking care of children.
In-person games, but we're next to each other.
I just use long sticks.
So yeah,
it's smart. It's just smart.
And then remember, all the Root products currently on pre-order except like the core game. If you go to leadergames.com and you can see what time it will be shipping to you per your region based on the product description. But other than that,
thanks Gates for plugging that along.
No problem, man. Thank you guys for joining us. And
thanks
then
everybody.
Thank you chat.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Go buy a bunch of root.